What's going on, guys? GeoSnow right here. Welcome to Mode My Eye. In today's video we're going to take a look at a tweak called LockHTML4, and also we're going to take a look at a widget for it called Fuji. As you can see, both of them are active right now on this device that is jailbroken on iOS 10.1.1, and you can see that using Fuji I got the macOS lock screen on my device. That's the purpose of it, and it does that pretty damn well. You can see it enables me to have a custom photo in here. You can put anything you want. It's up to your choice. And then you have your name in here. So in my case it's GeoSnow. Again, you can choose whatever you want. You can put whatever you want in there. Then you have that white strip, which is translucent, and you can customize its size and also the text inside it. By default it's press home to unlock, but I changed that to press home to awesomize. Then you have of course a clock, the battery percentage and the battery logo in the left, and also you have the date and the day of the week on the right. And that's pretty much your lot. Let's see what are the settings and how you can enable these. If you like it, stay with me, I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to unlock the device now, and I'm going to go to settings because yes, it does have a couple settings in here. And the reason we're using both LockHTML and Fuji is because, as I said, Fuji itself is a widget for LockHTML4, which is a bigger, broader tweak. Okay, so after you install LockHTML4, I'm going to show you how to do that later. You have to go ahead and here and enable it. It comes disabled from by default, so you have to enable HTML. Then you need to select widget and of course enable Fuji clock and Fuji. So if you go ahead here on Fuji, you have a couple of settings. The first one is URL to picture. There is a bug in here that apparently makes the link, if it's too long, to somehow overlay on top of the URL to picture label. Anyways, I'm going to contact the developer for that. Then you can change your name in here. You can add whatever you want. It comes with John whatever by default, but you can of course change it. Then you have this the phrase in here for the password box option. In my case it's press home to awesomize, but again you can change it, and you should keep in mind that if you change it to something longer than press home to unlock, you might as well change the width of it in pixels, which is in here. By default it's 200. I made it 250 in order to of course get it in a bigger shape so that it supports a longer string. Going to color options, you have the dark mode in here, and then you have a couple credits, so not a very huge tweak. Then you have of course the current and default. You can see in here these are the default settings and these are current settings. I'm going to check it in here. The Fuji clock, if you open it here, has even less settings. It has the 12-hour clock, which is disabled, and the battery view, and again made by the same dude. You of course do not forget to click save on the right corner after you change things up. Of course, let's check out LockHTML4 a bit, because this is basically the core engine behind all these widgets. So yeah, it has the normal enable HTML and select widget options that we have already seen. Then you have the widget position, so you have below notifications or background touch disabled. I'm going to have it like this. Then you have in here a couple more things. You do not need to respring if you select a new theme, so keep that in mind. You just need to lock your device and it's going to be there. Then you have the advanced settings, which if you're not really into, you know, tweaking it around, you might not change. Well, aside of the fact that you might disable some default things. For example, hide lock screen elements allows you to hide the normal things. For example, the hide the unlock text and the try again text when you're, you know, using your Touch ID. And I have both of them disabled because you already have, you know, that custom phrase on the top. You don't need it twice. Then you have the custom unlock text screen position in here, and you can of course fiddle with that. Then you have the clock and date settings. You need to of course hide the clock view if you don't want the normal clock from iOS to pop up. Then you have show clock on today's page. You have to keep it disabled if you're using the Fuji clock, and then hide date only if you only want the date to be disabled. Then of course the page control, you can hide that. Let's go to the next page, which is widget actions. In here, fade while scrolling, actions for notifications, off, fade and slide. You can read of course what they do, and disable fade with no playing. Okay. Moving swiftly on, we have the notification settings. So here you have the notification placements, like, you know, bring notifications to the top, full screen notifications, and it says that when no playing plugin is enabled, notifications will revert to the original placement, so you should keep that in mind. Custom notification start, custom notification end, and hide lock screen separators. Okay, you can do that. Then you have the battery view. So if you go ahead in here, you can have the battery height, which is custom battery location, exact battery location. You can fiddle with that. Always show battery text, custom battery text location, and so on. And stop lock screen fade out for battery, disable battery fade out timer, hide battery text, and hide battery view. You want to do that. And then the most important for me is the MISC or miscellaneous, which contain the show status bar time and hide status bar. This is the reason I didn't have any status bar at the beginning of the video, because I have disabled it from here. It doesn't come disabled by default, so when you're using it with a widget, you're going to fiddle with the settings in here according to the widget you're having. So some settings in here might not work well, you know, aesthetically with other widgets, but it might work with Fuji and so on. So in this case, the status bar doesn't work pretty well with Fuji because I don't want it in there, but with other tweaks it might, with other widgets it might work. So you need to fiddle with these in here. You also have the small status bar and a custom status bar color, which if you enable, you're going to be able to set a color in this color palette in here. So going to keep it disabled. And then another important fact is the custom lock screen timeout. You know, when you're on the lock screen, after a couple of seconds it's going to fade out and of course turn off the screen to make it dark. Well, if you enable this, you can select how many seconds or minutes and even hours you want in order for you to stay, you know, on the lock screen before it fades out and you know, turns off the screen, which is pretty neat. Then you have the advanced ones in here, which is hide theme folders, hide LockHTML themes, hide winner board themes, hide per page HTML, and so on. So it allows you to hide an entire Twix folder or of themes. Then you have set widget coordinates. If you go ahead in here, you can set the X and Y for Fuji and for Fuji clock. So apparently it takes the tweaks that are currently enabled for the widgets. Then you have disable edit mode and only Y axis. Of course, these are features that you're going to probably not fiddle with very much, but they are in here, so I'm reviewing them. Disable widget wiggle border. I have no idea what that does, so let's try to activate it. Let's see. Yeah, I have no idea. Anyways, then you have the cached mode. You may have issues with widgets not updating properly, requires respring. So you should keep that in mind. Anyways, probably a little bit of documentation on only Y-axis and disable widget wiggle border and so on might be okay. But anyways, I'm going to talk with the developer about this. Then you have the send bug report, where you can of course send bug report, enter a brief description of the issue and so on. So pretty neat little features. Okay, so as I said, it creates this LockHTML4 in here, but you should also keep in mind that Fuji also will install info stats, which is in here. It's going to add in here, it's going to be enabled. It has this default time and interval and so on. And the reason it does that is because it's a dependency of the tweak. So how you install them? Well, I'm glad you might have asked. I do not know if you did, I'm not in your home. But anyways, you need to go ahead in Cydia in here, and I'm going to show you what repos you should be adding. Well, at first you need to add the following repo. Let me try to show you. Let it reload. You need to add the LockHTML repo, which is this one in here, repo.lockhtml.com. And in here, you're going to have on the all packages LockHTML4 beta. Moving swiftly on, after that, you need to install Fuji, which can be found, I'm going to show you. Of course, it's a paid tweak, you should keep that in mind. This tweak costs $1, and as you can see, it's available in here, created by ML Avera. And going swiftly on, it's available on Mac City. This is actually it, guys. Till the next time, do not forget to subscribe to Mode My Eye. Tell me in the comment section down below what you think about LockHTML4 and Fuji, and peace out.